Hey coaches, welcome to Make a Smart Start, the summit specially created for life coaches building a business, coaches just like you. I'm Jay Manning, your summit host, and the theme for this summit is how to confidently create and amplify your personal coaching brand. Now, your personal coaching brand has virtually nothing to do with your logo or your colors. And it has everything to do with presenting and putting yourself out into the world in a way that attracts your ideal clients and lets people know what you do, what you're an expert in, and how you can help them. Now, the Wikipedia definition of personal branding, slightly adapted, is the conscious and intentional effort to create and influence public perception of yourself as a coach by positioning yourself as an authority in your industry and niche, elevating your credibility and differentiating yourself from your competitors to ultimately grow your business, increase your circle of influence, and have a larger impact. And the process of personal branding involves finding your uniqueness, that part of you that nobody can copy, that aspect of your brand that nobody can lay claim to. Building a reputation on the things that you want to be known for, and that's the showing up part. And of course, allowing yourself to be known for them. And that's where the magic of monetization happens. Because ultimately, the goal is to create something that conveys a message and that can be monetized. Now, our amazing lineup of speakers will be sharing some super easy to implement strategies that you can apply to your coaching business and brand right away. You'll notice that a lot of the speakers will talk to you about your mindset. Without this piece, none of the other stuff that I or our lineup of experts teach matters. Because if you don't have the mindset and you don't believe that you can do this, and that you are worthy of being seen or heard or having a truly impactful brand, then none of the other stuff is going to matter because you're not going to take action. Agreed? This is so dang important because none of what you hear on this summit is going to make a scrap of difference in your life or your business unless you take action. Okay, so I want you to do me a favor and close your eyes for a minute. I want you to give me a nice, big, deep inhale and exhale. Just take a minute for yourself here. There is nothing more vulnerable than creativity. It's not about winning. It's not about losing. It's about showing up and being seen. So you have to trust that showing up, even if it feels super uncomfortable or fills you with dread or fear, is what will build your confidence and what will grow and amplify your personal brand. Consider for a moment, what emotions come up for you around showing up online? Like, what do you feel when faced with having to show up? And then ask yourself, what is really stopping me from showing up? What is really stopping you from showing up for your business and for your brand? Now take a nice big deep inhale and exhale and open up your eyes and come back to me. You guys, that is one of my favorite quotes of all time. And the reason for that is that it's a constant reminder that it's not about feeling successful enough or expert enough or confident enough. It's about showing up and being seen irrespective of how you feel about it. Some of you have shared that you have fears around showing up, that you've suffered knocks in your life and that you've dented your self-confidence along the way, and it's left you not feeling good enough or perfect enough. Well, I want to tell you that that's good news for you. Because those stories of failure that you have, those hot mess stories that you have, those are the stories that make you you, that make you special, that make you different. Those are the stories that your potential clients want to hear because they can relate to them. You see, a huge part of creating your personal brand is writing your own story and turning your mess into your message. Because here is the thing, coaches, people don't relate to perfect people. People don't buy from perfect people. And if you're going to look to media to amplify your brand, I can tell you that the media doesn't want you to showcase perfect either. They want a juicy, scrappy, messy story that ends in triumph. This is one of the biggest secrets to creating a successful coaching brand. Turning your mess into your message so that you can help other people get through their messy times. So think about some of the big names out there, Marie Forleo and Jenna Kutcher, to name just two, but there are so many. Each of them will tell you how afraid, how filled with fear, and how terrified they were when they started out online, how inadequate they felt, how they made mistakes along the way, and how they floundered. But also how they turned their mess into their message and they started seeing the results. My own story is certainly not one that started out drenched in success. I came from the wrong side of town, and I had a very cruel and unusual childhood. My father was a tortured soul, and my mother is the kind of woman who tortures souls. My father was hard on me and refused to accept failure on any level. He raised me with the credo, you don't win silver, you lose gold. And despite me being a creative, he had a very narrow-minded approach to what he believed was available to me and what would create success. All of which led to his insistence that I pursue a career in finance. He himself was a banker. I lived in fear of disappointing him. It was a spiritually, emotionally, and financially bankrupt upbringing. I knew I wanted more from life and that I desperately wanted to achieve a significant financial success, entirely because I believed that that was the thing that would prove I was nothing like them. I wanted to live my life on my own terms, and I absolutely knew that that meant starting my own business. The problem was I came from a very long line of employees, and it took me more time to complete my business and finance degree than it took me to sink my first business and myself back in 1996. Despite working 7 days a week, 18 to 20 hours a day, I ended up losing my first home and was left with more than $50,000 of debt more than 20 years ago. So that was huge. And despite my very best efforts, I had failed catastrophically. I was ashamed, embarrassed, and I was frightened. I had nobody to bail me out financially or emotionally, and I was utterly depleted. So I retreated into the corporate world, and I hid there for about 10 years, licking my wounds. But somewhere along the way, I started my event and design agency as a side hustle. And when I eventually decided to stop hiding out, not that a cubicle offers much space or place to hide, mind you, I was able to grow that little business into a multiple 7-figure business that has worked with big brands like Google, the World Economic Forum, McKinsey & Associates, Ferrari, and many, many more. I started up and sold 2 other small businesses along the way. And about 14 years ago, I started mentoring innovative startup entrepreneurs. And that eventually also grew into a fully fledged business, the same business that allows me to teach this to coaches just like you. Now, the point of all of this is that I had every reason to keep playing small. My fears of failure or landing up with egg on my face weren't just imagined. I literally had the evidence to back them up. But that voice inside of me that had been there all along, the one that wanted more, was still nagging. And the only way to honor that voice was to get back into the driver's seat of my own life. When we finally realize that those things that have been holding us back are actually what makes us valuable to our potential clients, or even the reason that our potential clients fall in love with us, we can feel the fear and do it anyway. We can trust that showing up and being seen is what is most important and what will change the trajectory of our business. For life coaches, the challenge is often making the transition from accidental entrepreneur to intentional coachpreneur. And what I mean by that is that life coaches are not your average hard-nosed business person. Generally, they start out with nothing more than a desire to really help people and make a meaningful impact in the world. But in order to monetize, that means starting a business, as there is no real formal job market for coaches, as there are for lawyers or architects or accountants or virtually any other profession or professional that you can think of. Now, starting and growing a business is hard work. And without question, it will require you to extend the geofence on your comfort zone. Being successful in business comes down to being able to weigh up the risks versus the rewards. So, I want you to ask yourself, what are the risks here? What is the very worst thing that could happen if you start to consistently show up for your brand and your business? I want you to write that down. What is the very worst thing that you could imagine would happen to you if you start to consistently show up for your brand and your business? And then ask yourself, and again, write this down. What is the reward likely to be for showing up consistently? What is the reward likely to be for showing up consistently? None of the strategies being shared on this summit are grounded in you waiting to feel confident enough to use them. Don't wait. But if you're not already confidently showing up online, then these strategies are definitely going to make you feel uncomfortable to implement. We keep expecting that by attending these summits or consuming information, there will come a time when we wake up one morning and presto, you suddenly feel bold enough and confident enough to put yourself out there. But that's just not how it works. Confidence doesn't generally come delivered in a 10-ton truck, dumped out on your lawn so that you can roll in it, coach yourself in it, and then lie in it on your back, making confidence angels. It happens little step by little step, incrementally. So I want you guys to identify the strategies from this summit that resonate with you and that you would like to apply and try. And then I want you to write down how you think you could implement them by taking consistent little baby action steps. Because the more you get a little bit more comfortable with being uncomfortable, the more confident you'll become. Because you need confidence in order to create competence, and you need competence in order to amplify your coaching brand. And if you don't get that confidence part down, you're not going to take bigger action, and you're not going to create the results that you're looking for, and you're not going to get the clients that you're dreaming of getting. So you need to take action. Could you at least commit to taking small action, to showing up and stepping outside of your comfort zone? If you can do that, I want you to say it out loud to yourself. Come on, say it with me. I commit to creating an easy, manageable plan to show up consistently online and commit to taking action on that plan. Did you say it? All right. Now here's one main thing that holds us back from being willing to feel discomfort, right? And that's where confidence comes from, the willingness to experience some discomfort. Because every time we experience some pain or some discomfort and get through it, then we get to the other side. We get a hit of dopamine or serotonin, all the feel-good hormones to our brain, because we're like, holy shit, I did it and I didn't die. And then we get a little more confident. What I like to say is that you put a coin in the confidence bank every time you're willing to experience discomfort. You show a little part of yourself online and a coin goes into your confidence bank. You reach out to connect with someone online that you've been nervous to reach out to, a coin goes into your confidence bank. You contribute in a Facebook group, another coin goes in. You post a video, or bigger, you post your first Facebook or IG live. Go on, reward yourself with 2 confidence coins. The point is, before you know it, those confidence coins start to stack up. They go from 10 to 20 to 50 to 100. And the next thing, you're rich in confidence. That's how it works. And that's how you build competence too, because each time you do one of those things, you'll recognize ways to do them better. Trust me, when you look back on your first couple of social media posts or email newsletters, or sometimes even your first website for that matter, you'll cringe. But you need to have put those first efforts out there or taken those first steps in order to improve on them and become better. Here's the thing. So many of us go through life trying to avoid discomfort with every ounce of our being, every second of our life, right? Right. Raise your hand if you know that you do that. So this is why. There's one main thing that holds us back from being willing to feel discomfort. Do you know what that thing is? I know you do. It's fear. Fear, fear, fear. But guess what, guys? Fear is a dirty, dirty liar. And let me tell you why fear is a liar. Because all fear really is worrying about something that already happened. So it's no longer even in existence, which is what I did for all those years. Or worrying about something that might happen, that doesn't exist yet, and probably never will exist. So it's just an illusion. Now, make no mistake, fear is a real thing. It's not a fake thing. Fear is something that we all experience. What fear does is it tries to keep us safe. That's its job. But it lies to us to get that job done. It tells us a whole bunch of lies to keep us safe and to keep us the same and to keep us playing small. And the only reason that we don't grow is because we listen to fear and we listen to the lies that it tells us. So let's talk about the lies that fear tells us and the way that it shows up and keeps us stuck so that we can be like, hey, fear, I see you, but I'm going to go do the thing anyway. Here's some ways that fear shows up. It shows up when you see somebody that does the same thing as you or something similar, and they look so darn comfortable and effortless doing it. And they are the ones that are getting the likes on Facebook or Instagram or even media attention. And you feel that feeling in your gut that's like, oh God, that should be me. I should be there by now in my life or my business. And then it leaves you not taking action. That comparisonitis, that's fear. And that's where imposter syndrome is born. I'm just going to out myself here. I recently experienced a bout of imposter syndrome that kept me from grabbing a really great opportunity with both hands. Despite having 3 university degrees, over 2 decades experience as a successful entrepreneur, enjoying huge financial success, I'm still like, oh my gosh, one day someone's going to realize that I really don't know what the hell I'm talking about, or that I'm not worthy of media attention. And it's not just me. I mentioned that I own an event and design agency. And let me tell you, I've worked with big name celebrities over the years. Celebrities who walk off stage and they're like, oh my God, was that good enough? Was that enough? How was it? I can't even believe I'm on the show. I'm not that great. And some of these are like international pop stars I'm talking about. Everybody has imposter syndrome. But all imposter syndrome is a form of fear. Fear coming in and saying, no, I don't want you to take any steps outside of your comfort zone. I want you to stay the same. So I'm going to tell you that you're an imposter and you're not worthy of all the things that you do so well. It's comparisonitis, right? When you just start comparing yourself to other people on the internet, and then it keeps you stuck because you're like, I'll never be like her, or I'll never be like him. So I shouldn't take action because I'm not like her, or I'm not like him, or my business doesn't look like that, or I haven't done as much, or my house doesn't look beautifully lit and perfectly clean like that Instagram star. So I'm not going to post anything. Am I right? You compare. And then we get stuck and we don't move. No action happens. Perfectionism. It's another way that fear shows up. All perfectionism is fear. It says, nope, I'm not going to let you put anything out there or do anything until it's perfect. And so that means you can't do anything because nothing's ever perfect. Or your message must be just right before you put it out there. But that's not true. I always tell my clients, done beats perfect. Think about this for a second. If you saw someone about to jump off a building, a ledge, would you resist trying to help them until you had gone back to fix your hair, put on some lipstick, or worked out exactly the right way to say something? Would you just stand there and do and say nothing until you were ready? No, am I right? You would instinctively know that they need help and that you should try and talk them down off the ledge. Well, as a coach, that's what showing up is about. Not necessarily always as dramatic as someone jumping off a ledge, but being willing to say something that someone might really benefit from, whether you're a yoga coach, a grief coach, a relationship coach, a business coach, whatever coach that you are. You don't have to be perfect. You've just got to let them know that you're there and that you care. I don't want you to try for perfect because I don't want you to get stuck in analysis paralysis. There's so many fears that come up for coaches. Fears like, I don't even know what to do in my business, right? That's a really common way that fear is keeping us stuck. Because as long as we're analyzing, we can't take action. So analysis paralysis is another way that you can say, oh, fear, what's up? I see you here. And acknowledge fear. And then put him in the passenger seat and say, okay, so guess what? I'm driving the car. You're in the passenger seat and you can't even touch the radio, but you can ride along. I get it. You're going to be there, right? Another thing that fear makes us do is making your light a little more dim to make other people more comfortable. It's another form of fear to keep us small. Okay, so here's a quote that changed my life. My gran always said this to me. When you care more about what you think than you care about what others think, you'll change your life. I almost always have makeup on because it's who I am. I love putting on makeup, but occasionally I do an Instagram post with absolutely no makeup, nothing. And I don't care what other people think of me for doing that. But here's the funny thing. Those are often the posts that get the most engagement. Remember what I told you, people don't relate to perfect. People are on the lookout for real. I could have canceled the summit because I had surgery in my mouth this week and my face was swollen and I was in pain and I looked terrible and my energy was in the dumps. But I didn't because I knew that the coaches who signed up didn't do it because they cared about me or my face. They signed up because they're at a point in their business that they need and want support and guidance. So ask yourself this question. What would you do differently if no one could see your imperfections or failures? How would you show up differently if your imperfections simply didn't exist? If everything showed up exactly as you wanted it to, how would you show up differently? Would you be different? What if we lived our life that way every day? Like babies or kids. We're not born with this fear of being perfect, right? When we're kids, we're imperfect and we're messy and we run around naked and we don't care and with our bellies hanging out over our costumes, or we do whatever we want every day. We throw temper tantrums on the floor. We ask for what we want. Somewhere along the way, we lose that confidence. But I have good news for you guys. You can tap into that innate inborn confidence you once had as a child. And you don't have to wait until you feel confident. You can create confidence for yourself. And I'm going to teach you how right now. It's a simple little four-step framework. Number 1 is clarity. Number 2 is commitment. 3, consistency. Number 4 is competency. Clarity, commitment, consistency, and competency. All right, so let's dive into step number 1, clarity. The more clear you are, the more confident you will be. In terms of your personal brand as a coach, that means getting really clear on who you're talking to. Get clear on what it is you want to be known for. Get clear on how you want to help your clients. Get clear on exactly who your clients are. What do you want to help them do? Without clarity, you're going to add and contribute to the noise online. Number 2 is commitment. Who is the one person that you can always count on no matter what? Is it you? Can you count on yourself? Long-term confidence comes from consistently sticking with the commitments you make with yourself. This is so key because every single time you make a commitment with yourself to do something and you don't follow through, you're telling your subconscious mind that you can't trust yourself, and that will break your confidence. When I see coaches faced with the opportunity to buy into a program that they know would really benefit them or their business, and they ask the coach selling the program, can you guarantee it will work? What I hear is that they've learned that they can't count on themselves because they've started things before and not finished them, or they've made commitments to themselves and they've let themselves down. So now they're looking for somebody else to put their trust in. Because I'll tell you that no program is guaranteed to work unless you commit to it. Show up and do the work. Stick to your commitments so that you know that you can trust yourself. Just like you guys that showed up for the summit or who are watching the replays. A lot of times what people do is they'll just sign up for a program or buy a book or sign up for a summit or whatever, and then they don't take the action. They sign up, but they don't show up. You took the action, and you showed up for the summit or the replay. You honored a commitment that you made to yourself. Signing up and not showing up can mean committing to an action plan or even a daily routine for yourself and then not showing up or doing what it is that you set out to do. When you develop a pattern of not showing up, of letting yourself down, of breaking your commitments, each time you do one of those things, you break your confidence. And every time that you do meet your commitments and that you do show up, and each time you do one of those things, your mind, your body, and everything is like, wow, we're doing this so good. And then guess what? That spills over into every aspect of your life and business. Consistency. Almost everything you're looking for in your business is on the other side of consistency. Want more social media followers? Add value on social media consistently. Want to create more content? Create content consistently. Want a powerful personal coaching brand? Show up consistently and share your message consistently so that your potential clients learn to trust you. You can accomplish as much as you think you can, but you have to take action. Action, action, and action over and over and over again. And as you do, and you take these actions consistently, you'll find that you become more confident. Work on sticking with these tiny commitments you make with yourself and taking action and following through, because it builds confidence. And lastly, competence. The more you do something, the better you get at doing it and the easier it becomes. When you get up to run for 10 to 20 minutes every day, before you know it, you'll be running for an hour, barely breaking a sweat. You become a competent runner. You don't become a competent runner by getting up one day and never having run in your life before and deciding, I'm going to be running the New York Marathon. Because if you did, firstly, you would land up in a world of pain because you're not trained. Your body's not ready for it. You don't know what to do. You don't know what to prep for. You don't know what to expect. And you're also going to end up looking pretty foolish because you're unlikely to be able to finish. You're going to fall out along the way. Heck, you're unlikely to even make it halfway. So there would quite literally be zero reward, no payoff for showing up spectacularly just that once, versus getting up every day and running those 10 to 20 minutes consistently and building up. As it relates to your business and your coaching brand, as you become more competent, people will start paying attention. You'll become known for something. It's going to become easier to sell. You'll start getting more referrals. You'll find people reaching out to you for your expertise, which in turn will provide more opportunities to promote or amplify your brand. It's going to be easier to ask for all these different things, and these other benefits are going to start happening for you. It all starts coming together and falling into place. So here's how this works. Let's say you're going to do a Facebook Live for the first time. This is how action works, guys. You're really scared. You don't want to do it. You don't want to do the Facebook Live. But finally you take an extra step and you press play to go live. And you do your very first Facebook Live. And you end it, and it wasn't that bad. And you're like, oh my God, it wasn't that bad. So you get a tiny hit of feel good. You're like, holy shit, I did that. And it felt really good. And I didn't die. And maybe even that was awesome. So now you have peace of mind. That was the win. What does that do? That makes you more motivated to do another Facebook Live. Okay, and you get this motivation suddenly, all right, and then you do this next Facebook Live. And guess what happens? When you do the next Facebook Live, a potential client DMs you and says, hey, I didn't even know that you help people with that. I'd love to chat to you about hiring you. And oh my God, you get the big win. You get the money, you get the clients, right? We're getting that validation, that feeling of, oh my God, somebody is actually watching and thinks that it matters. And then because of that big win, you gain momentum. And oh my God, this works, right? People reaching out to me. I'm doing Facebook Lives, or I'm posting on Instagram, or I'm, putting out blog, I'm sending out newsletters, and they're not that scary. I get it. It's easy. It doesn't hurt. So you went from not doing any Facebook Lives ever, being petrified of doing them, to being incredibly competent just by taking one small action. And then another action step. And then another action step. So little teeny tiny action steps lead to confidence. And then you go and you take the next action step with more confidence. And then you notice something different. You set a new goal and a new action or whatever, and you repeat the whole process. I'm so scared to take this action, but I take it and I don't die. So I take it again and again, and then I start seeing rewards. So what happens if this action stuff is so debilitatingly scary that you just feel you can't do it? Well, I've got some good, really quick confidence boosters that you could use to take care of that. First little action booster tip is get camera ready. Whether you're a guy or a girl, whatever you do, put on your favorite outfit that makes you feel great. Do your hair, put on some makeup, whether you're taking a photo, going live, or doing a Zoom, whatever it is, you want to feel super fly doing it. Our first speaker of the summit, actually, Snowden McFall, has you covered here with her topic, how to shine online. Step number 2, visualize. Visualize yourself crushing it, feeling amazing. I visualize who's watching on the other end, or who's reading my blog, or who's, consuming my emails, and what they're getting out of it, and how they're feeling when they're watching or reading. And the way that I feel after I've gotten it done. Take a minute to close your eyes and really visualize exactly how you want it to go, how you want to feel afterwards. Top athletes do this, marathon runners do this, actors do this, and it's unbelievably powerful. Step number 3, become your alter ego. Now, when I talk about create your alter ego, I don't mean create a different version of you or someone else you want to be like. It's kind of just like being Jay 2.0 or Louisa 2.0 or Clive 2.0. So like the version of you that is a superhero, and you give that version of you a name. And then every time you go and do something that you're scared to do, you put on that alter ego and you just decide, I'm Jay 2.0. I'm Super J, and I'm going to go into this the way she would go into this. Confident, self-assured, fierce even. Step 4, turn up the tunes. Before every sales call I have, before every coaching session with clients, before showing up online, before speaking to an audience, before getting on this summit, I always start off with a dance party. The reason is, number 1, because it's fun. But number 2 is because when I hear songs that pump me up, I get more confidence, right? It puts me in the zone. Nothing gets you more in the zone. And it gets you completely out of your head and into your body. That's the power of music. Step 5, celebrate. It is so unbelievably important to celebrate your wins, no matter how small, so that you feel the fruits of your labors. You can just enjoy them, marinate in them. The more you feel the winning, the more you're likely to keep showing up. The better it's going to get, the more you're going to want to take action, and the more you're going to do it with confidence. So use any of these confidence boosters that might help you, or use your own. But whatever you do, it's time to start taking action and showing up. You've got this. I know you do. Just do it. Your business will love you for it. You will love yourself for it. I guarantee it. So coaches, enjoy the summit and the speakers. Take notes and work out which of the strategies you would like to apply and try in your business. And if you're stuck or you're confused about the action you could take to make a particular strategy work for you in your business, or whatever comes up for you, then take action and reach out to me to get your questions answered. Hit me up with an email at hello@vividwithj.com, or make a virtual coffee date with me via my website, vividwithj.com/coffee. Send me a DM on Instagram or on Facebook. I'm at Vivid with J in all the places, but reach out. Don't stay stuck for a single second longer than you have to. And keep a lookout in your emails, as I'll be sending out individual replays of the speakers over the next week or so. Enjoy the summits. It's especially for you. Bye now. See you on the other side.